For this video I'm going to show why these remarks are very wrong and misconstrued. First this. As we can see, this is a misrepresentation of character. But what about the second line? Well then for that, we'll have to go all the way back to 2020. This being when I left the server, where I had to endure harassment and being thrown into annoying arguments about male genitals on a woman. I had created a meme about the nonsense people kept talking about or bugging me about, which was neither implied nor is the case. Clearly, me, just like other people, find this to be really stupid and annoying. I could not ever speak about the character in peace in any capacity without this thing they call a joke that no one is really laughing at. But we'll say that it's funny out of spite when they just have a poker face behind a computer screen. Sometime later a guy comes up to me named Marahai and starts spreading some things about me that weren't true alongside a few others. As well as digging stuff up about me and trashing my post. Some even assumed I was the problem on there, as they had exploited my emotions to make me look like I was just triggered, when in reality, rumors was just following me with those who actually spoke to the people who were from off Reddit and acted upon them. Marahai was one of those people affiliated with people of that server from the outside of it. Not only that, but he also knew my Discord name, which had nothing to do with my Reddit name, and the only Discord server I was in at the time was Z's server. People also acknowledged that others were making a big deal out of nothing on my meme post. I made that post also as a means to vent, because since May until now I just had enough of the nonsense. I carried logs with me to prevent this from happening again. Because even though I would ignore these things happening, I would block and they'd slander behind my back. Resulting me in making an enemy out of nowhere. People have seen it happen and it should be really obvious. Here is Nova again saying something that isn't true. But if I had access to my account, I could easily prove that even he himself acknowledged that I was just in it for the lore and that it was all I was trying to talk about. Now he's piggybacking on something that clearly isn't true. Just like his dumb takes on the lore itself. You yourself need therapy if this is what you got from this, when the answer of what is vague was already in front of your face. You can clearly see in my description and the comments on the video that it isn't at all true of what he is saying. Now this will take the lowest effort possible to prove wrong. First off, he says people who express discomfort with my wall of text. But did anyone ask him for evidence? No. He wouldn't have been able to show you any evidence anyways. Because it never happened. That makes no sense, I can clear realize that. He also says Rex was never followed. Well then what is this then? Why even mention the GBF wiki server when someone from Z's server who was starting things with me, doing the same things, gets warned for specifically argument baiting? This guy is number third-party witness, he's just a guy talking out of himself, hoping someone agrees with him. Now this guy has a big problem because for whatever reason, he keeps on talking about how I spam the subreddit with wall texts about Satyr. I have absolutely nothing to hide. This is the post. It was already shown to be a thing in the first place on other videos. I talked about this when trying to clear myself. To which those that attack me don't watch, just like my video on Satyr, and tries to slander me. Why? Because they're defensive. There is a cause and effect to this, showing that he is not mentioning more of what happened. First off, all I did was create the post for people who did care about the lore. I even specifically say that it has nothing to do with some gender or sexuality. My post, according to the moderator, verbatim. An auto mod kept removing my post. In order for this to happen, you have to report spam it with different people. To me, I found this as an opportunity to clean the post up and try again with people who care to watch my video. I'm going to show an example on how someone is very defensive about this. Notice how Marahai says that I created a meme about how Satyr doesn't have male genitals. How the hell does this meme I created really say that at all? It doesn't. This behavior is exactly what he is exhibiting while bashing me because it's quote-unquote funny to create a conceptual bad guy over something like this to ease their boredom because they don't have lives while I am trying to live mine and do what I had enjoyed doing. People were confused about things and people who were quote-unquote joking were just making things worse. They go after me And if anyone doesn't go along with what they're saying, then they are me all of a sudden. They are Rex. If someone is trying to bait for 2 years, how does no one berate that behavior? It is insane how far lies and slander just because a guy doesn't see things the way you do. People weren't annoyed at me creating posts, and Saucius was there at the beginning of all of this doing what they were doing like there was nothing wrong with it all. Rumors was already rampant even during that time. Again. I can't be obsessed if there is nothing there. But screw common sense unfortunately. Or morality for that matter. I could explain myself many times, but if there was someone else in a situation like this who had a following, they would not be treated the way I was, and if they do, and they have the greatest chance of getting out of that situation in comparison to me. This whole situation made me sick many times, and they live off of that. Yet aren't in the wrong despite everything. It almost makes me want to off myself.